Pause. I just want to get your overall thoughts from the weekend and just taking the 4 games from San Diego there.
Yeah, excited to come out of a weekend 4-0 for sure against a good team, and the pitching was consistent and solid, and I thought our team play was much improved.
You guys open Pac-12 play now with UCLA. There are only 2 losses this season out of Vanderbilt. Just what have you seen from them, at least when you've had time to look at them like on tape and what their staff brings?
They're pitching dominant. They played Vanderbilt close games when they played Vanderbilt with a very elite pitching staff, great arms, and Coach Savage's program's got very good pitching, and they just play fundamentally sound baseball. So it should be a really good weekend of well played ball.
Go on.
As far as Duck hitters this past weekend, who do you think made the most improvement or went from point A to point B?
I think there were several guys that made improvements throughout the weekend. I mean, Jacob Walsh, showed up, had a very good weekend. Gavin Grant got some clutch hits. Drew Cali got a lot of clutch at-bats and clutch hits for us. Riku Nishida, he hit a home run, and so there was a lot of buzz about that. But, he continues to put good swings on balls, even on the ones that, he lined out several times. I think he lined out 4 times on the weekend series. And so he continued to be a spark plug and a catalyst. I thought Bennett Thompson had some very, very good at-bats as well. The stat sheet didn't show him having a lot of hits, but he saw a lot of pitches and was a really competitive at-bat each and every time.
Treadwell and Austin, they lead UCLA's staff. I think they both have ERAs in like the 1 range. Just what have you seen from those 2 guys on film, and how do you think they might plan on attacking your new improved offense?
Well, they just have feel of the ball. They can command their pitches, and their stuff is really good. There's low to mid 90s, and sometimes even a tick better than that in terms of fastballs. And they've got good off-speed stuff, and they have good command of the running game, good feel for how to, manage a game and all that kind of stuff. And so they're well prepared with guys with great arms.
You've talked about the last couple of days, just cutting down on big swings, looking to go base to base. Specifically against UCLA, who has 125 strikeouts this year in 97 innings. How much more important is that to cut down on those big swings and try to get the ball in play?
Well, I think regardless of who you're playing, that's important. And, it's just the game of baseball, I think, brings with that every single day. I don't think UCLA or a different opponent brings that. And so I think just the concept of playing better team baseball overall needs to continue to be a focal point. What that means from team offensive standpoint is what we need to continue to teach.
This is, obviously Pac-12 opening play, stiffer competition. Just how do you kind of guide those true freshman arms who are going to be slated to make a start this weekend? How do you help them get up to that level of competition?
Well, the level of competition we've been playing has been really good, and so it isn't like it's a massive, oh my God, it's a massive step up with competition. It's the same. We've been playing really good competition 1 week after the next and consistently throughout the year. And so we did that to prepare them for Pac-12 play, which now we're in our Pac-12 opener. So we think they'll be ready.
Specifically about you guys, just with Owen Diodati's struggles. I know he lined out a couple times, put some good wood on it, but is there something specific that you guys are continuing to try and work on, you and maybe Martyr as well?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Whether they're going good or bad, it doesn't matter. There's things that we're working on with our guys on a daily basis. Yeah.
You guys, left-handed hitters, have taken a lot of balls to the opposite field. Walsh, Cowley. Is that something that Diodati could try to improve upon in this series? And then just overall with your lefties, just how does that taking the ball the other way help them and get their bats back on fire?
Just in general, when you're willing to hit the ball the other way, or you're in a position where you're making good contact the other way, like Owen did the other day, and he flew out to the wall in left center field. And when you're willing to do that and your swing is lined up to do that, then you're probably going to see less big swings and wild swing and misses and all that kind of stuff. You'll see more of a consistent approach with a swing that's staying inside of a player, whether it's Owen or anybody else. I think that's pretty important to hitting.
You mentioned the word wood, and I was listening to the game. I didn't get a clarification like one of the players. Seemed like he had a wooden bat, but he really could you just clarify that? I never heard the answer to that.
Yeah, we've got a lot of our guys like to use wood, and so we had one choose to use wood the other day in a game, which is great. It's just about feel, and when a hitter feels what he wants to in the box and stuff with a particular bat, then, they go with that. We don't put handcuffs on our hitters and tell them you got to use this bat or that bat. We don't have a bat contract that pays us all off to where we, have to use some sort of bat. We try to let the player have freedom of choice here to where they can choose what feels good in their hand, and it's for that purpose to where they can hopefully become the best hitter that they can.
A guy who I haven't seen on the field, or obviously we haven't seen play in a game, but Stone Cherby, is there an update on, I guess, where he is?
No update.
Just in general, I want, like, after a series like you had against San Diego where you guys put up some good runs and had some good, home runs, hard hit balls, just how much do roles of analytics and like exit velocity, launch angle, things like that take into play in making your lineups and kind of switching it up and down?
Well, I don't know that exit velocity and all that kind of stuff. I've never heard that in our staff meetings that means really anything. What means a lot to us is when guys are performing in their prep work, and they the statement that we make is make it so noticeable that you're playing so well in your prep work that we're looking for ways to get you into the lineup. And if you're doing that, then you're doing what you can do to get into the lineup. The loser mentality is having the mindset that says, I can't wait for my teammate to fail to where I can get in. So that really is a mindset that clearly isn't the best version of a competitor. And the best version of a competitor is I want to see my teammate exceedingly do well, and then I also want to be so good and so ready that when I get my chance, it's because I'm showing that I'm doing even better than my teammate who's playing well. And so that's the mindset that we teach.
I know it's only Tuesday, but I have to ask, do you guys have an idea what the rotation looks like?
No, we haven't even discussed it.
Same thing as last week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your freshman did really well this weekend, at least on the mound. Dylan McShane, you guys used in back-to-back games. You had him come in a little bit of a higher leverage situation in his second game. Just how have you seen him improve early on in the season, and just how do you feel like his role might enhance to that higher leverage opportunity spot?
Well, largely he's going to dictate his role. We'll just pay attention to how he's pitching, and the way he's been throwing the ball and the swings against him has been really good, and so the swings haven't been very good. The ball coming out of his hand and his stuff has been very good. He's been commanding the zone for the most part. Getting him in there on 2 days in a row was part of the plan. One of the objectives for last weekend to see how he handles that, even though it's a short stint that he had the day before, like a 10 or 11 pitch type of an inning, and getting him back out there 2 days in a row. That's just something that relievers are going to need to get accustomed to when it comes to a 27-man roster in the Pac-12 play.
Do you have any injury updates on guys like Anson, Dominic Hellman, Mosiello, Isaac Ahon?
No, those guys are all day to day, and we're looking forward to getting those guys back when they are able to return. Those guys are all really good players.
Gotcha. Yeah. I guess in January, the NCAA passed the rule that there could be a third paid assistant coach. Obviously, that'll take place in July. Do you have an idea of who that might be? Would you promote Hinkle up to that opportunity, or is it still talking about with the financial issues at Oregon?
We haven't even discussed it with my administration, so it's just ahead of the issue. I love my staff, though, and I'm not looking to replace anybody on my staff, even with the adjustment in rules with who's allowed to make money and who's not allowed to make money. I'm thrilled that the NCAA is looking at baseball and trying to be progressive in what they're doing from a pay scale standpoint with a sport that already has a very poor coach-to-player ratio, and they're aware of it, and that's why they're making those adjustments. And I'm grateful for that. I like the fact that our game's growing and expanding at the rate that it is, for them to think that there's value in that. And so our job is just to continue to put a good product out there to where our game can grow.
A lot of baseball has been played since Thursday, but Jace had a pretty good start in his pitch limit. Just where did you see him improve from his first start into the second one? And where do you see him improve as well?
Well, I mean, he's been working like crazy. His pitch count got up there this last weekend, which is great. And he's developed there. The command of his fastball was really good, and his stuff's been really good. He's a guy that's just got 4 pitches for strikes, and he was throwing 4 pitches for strikes. I think his breaking ball was much more consistent this last week than it was the week before, and I think you'll see that as he continues to get in deeper into the season in better and better pitching shape with his arm.
Have you ever been a part of a rain/snow delay like that we had on Sunday?
I coached in the Big Ten, and
yeah,
in the Big Ten,
Purdue, yeah.
in the Big Ten, that's what you deal with pretty much every day. So yes, that's Big Ten baseball at its finest, and it just happened strangely in Eugene last weekend.
That same energy that you said you talked about on Saturday that had the hitters getting ready. Was that there on Sunday? Did you see some of that just carry over into that Sunday game?
Yeah, and it was yes, I did, and we saw a little bit of a tough set of circumstances on Sunday with what you mentioned, and then we didn't take batting practice outside that day, which was an adjustment. And then we backed the game back 2 hours, which was an adjustment. So you really had a lot of things in the players' lap, let's call it, that was different for the player. And so they needed to adjust to it. And they were still able to handle it and come out on game 4 of a series, which is always a challenge. Game 3 is a challenge. And they showed up on game 3 and 4 and played probably their best 2 games of the series. So credit to the guys. The energy's been great. I've said it from the start. I love this group, and it's a lot of fun to show up every single day in the weight room and on the practice field with these guys. It's a blast being around them. They're energized and they're good, and I think you'll only see us continue to get better.